Hey, Dan from Michigan here again. Just wanted to talk on a topic that's been kind of near and dear to my heart for my whole life, and that is about kids starting to work at a very young age. Now, I don't mean put them in a sweatshop and use child labor, but teaching them the value of work, the value of responsibility, uh, how to work for themselves, the difference between a job and a business, savings money, um, giving money, and just being creative as a whole. And so I look back on my life. I came from a family of 9 kids, and what we had to do, it was a family of 9 kids, is that we had to all have jobs around the family. I was the oldest, so I started probably the first one doing some of the things like folding diapers and just cleaning up your room. I mean, you get done cleaning, playing with stuff, and my parents were not going to put the stuff away for us. We were taught how to do it. Now, they would help to make it fun. My mom would kind of make it fun to do these things like this, but it really was about what we had to learn to do. And so we all had chores. Eventually, with 9 of us, as we got older and older, everybody had chores, and they changed on a regular basis based on your age and what you were doing and how you were acting around the house, all those kind of things. But it taught us that, as a family, we all had responsibilities to keep the household going. And it's very easy to say, you know what, it's just the kid doesn't do it right, I'll do it myself. I found out years later that sometimes my mom would go back in and after we were all in bed and maybe clean up a few of the things that we didn't do exactly right. But the fact that we were doing them and contributing them and being told how good of a job we were doing, um, those all things made a difference to know that you're building a family of responsibility. Now, maybe you don't agree. Maybe you don't think that children should start working at a very early age. I mean, I was 3, 4, 5 years old doing things like folding diapers, okay? Uh, Having a spot for everything in our rooms, cleaning things up, and just maybe even trying to wash dishes occasionally when you were younger. So there was a lot of things, and if we didn't wash them, sometimes we were putting like cups away and things like that. So the idea is that my parents really felt that if we started early and we did work around the home, everybody contributed. It allowed them to have more time to spend with us too. Okay, and it also made everybody know that they counted. That we all had something to do. I remember my youngest, whoever was the youngest at the time, was like, well, what can I do? Because they felt kind of left out. So everybody would have something, and you felt like you were part of as they talk about today, being part of a team, right? Well, the family was definitely a team. So, simple chores, the fact that we had to do them every day, the fact that you know those had to be done properly, and you got better at it, you got quicker at it, and you got so good at it that now you got another job at it, or maybe you got something else that was a little more difficult. Okay, and so these were all working for the family, right? And as we got a little older, we got my brother and I both had paper routes, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, Detroit Free Press route. I mean, we had to get up early in the morning. I believe we got up about 4:30, so we had to get out there and we would try to get the papers done by 6 or so, 7 o'clock, because we had to go to school. So it was pretty darn early, and I know it took me about an hour or so. So yeah, I'm guessing we were up around 4 o'clock. It's hard to remember now, but it was early in the morning, and my parents didn't wake us up either. It's your responsibility to get up, get out there, get the paper. Uh, my mom was up sometimes giving us something warm to drink or whatever on a cold day, but definitely, what did the paper route teach you? Man, the paper route told us that we had to get up on a daily basis, 365 days a year. We had to get that paper go stand, make sure our bikes were kept in good shape. I did mine on a bike. My brother did his with a wagon. We had to fold the papers. We had to get them out to the homes. We had to collect. We had to keep track of how much money we paid for our bill, how many papers we owed. So there was a lot of things that came into that. And that was definitely something that had for about 4 years, right? I think about 4 years, 3 or 4 years I had paper up. And then, but even before that, you had things like lemonade stands, and you do work for your neighbors, paint their fences, or pick up stuff, or cut their lawn, or shovel their snow. They always found something to give you to do if you wanted to make a few bucks, but you had to go out and ask. You just couldn't it wouldn't just come to you, right? My dad used to bring bikes home that were damaged from around the area where he worked, and taught us how to fix those bikes, how to straighten out the rims just by adjusting the spokes on a bike, and how you could make it like it was brand new again and resell those bikes and make some money with it. And so all of these things not only start out working as a job, but now you're in kind of an entrepreneurial set, right? And for most of my career, I owned several businesses, business where I sold newspapers door to door, newspaper subscriptions door to door, and I brought kids in, taught them how to sell, taught them how to handle objections, taught them how to show up, save their money, a lot of good things that worked for them, but it was also for me. I had a lawn business, which I'm going to do another video on that one, lawn and snow business, and just it gives you the opportunity as a kid to see, even if you always work a job, how you are really the owner of it, right? You're still the owner of your work, even though you're working for somebody else. But it also gives you the opportunity to say, hey, maybe it's something I don't. I know so many people go, hey, I'd love to work for myself, but they never take that chance to do it. And if they had that opportunity as a kid to know that when you have a lemonade stand, everybody drives by, doesn't always buy something, or you have to have one of your friends at one side of the street and one at the other side of the street near the corners, so that by the time they got to you, they were already thinking about buying. And that, you've got people that would pay more, and some people would actually try to make you pay less. It was crazy, but you learned that not everybody's going to buy and all that good stuff. These were all skills that you learn as you grow up. And it really carried over into adult life. I was never afraid to work or find or decide what would my next thing be as a business. It hurt me sometimes. I've lost some big money at times, and had some rough incidences to be in, but it still, I think brought more joy and satisfaction in my life to know that it wasn't somebody else that made my life financially okay. It was me and the people that I worked with or helped work. So, there's going to be people that are going to be builders, and there's going to be people that are just going to be kind of waiters. I'm going to wait and see what happens, okay? So I guess I truly believe that children should work early, should have the opportunities. Parents should really be helping them to do other things, and to be thinking and being creative about what they can do based on their talents, and not necessarily even what they like, but just to know that the opportunity is there to make money. So many times you think, well, the kids got to do what they like. Nah, not necessarily, okay? It's an opportunity to learn those skills of showing up, getting the job done, planning it out, following up, making sure you're taking, that was another thing about money, Learned a lot about money too. My parents required us to put a certain amount of everything we earned in the bank, no matter what, so that we were saving for something. And we were also required to put a certain amount towards church, given to our church, okay? So we had these little envelopes, Catholic church, we had these little envelopes for kids, and we'd put our money in there, and we'd give that in church every week. And so that was, and didn't matter whether you were making more money or less, you had to give a certain percentage every week. And so you learn those things too, and you learn, hey, now I got this much left, what do I want to do with it? Okay, do I want to buy more parts for this bike so I can sell this bike and makes even more money? Do I want to have an ice cream? Didn't matter. My son was very entrepreneurial. He used to sell candy and gum at school out of his locker. He'd go to the place where you could buy wholesale candy and gum, and especially gum, man. He sold a lot of gum, and he wasn't supposed to, I guess, have gum at school, right? And so, but he would sell them out of his locker. And then he charged, when he got old enough, he used to charge friends to get a ride to school. Hey, I'll drive, but you're going to cost me, pay a little bit for gas. He wasn't crazy with it, but he did that kind of stuff. And he just learned that he could always have money. He worked for me with my business selling newspaper subscriptions, was one of the top people because he loved his Michael Jordan tennis shoes, right? Wanted to buy those all the time, and they were not cheap even back then. You're talking in the early 90s, right? So, yeah, a lot of good things come from that. Tell me what you think, though. Do you really think that this is the way to do it? Did you not do it when you were a kid? Did you think that maybe your parents should have had you give more responsibility? Do you do it with your kids? I just think it's a great way to go, because everybody I know that has been growing up doing jobs out of their home and stuff like that, they've all been very successful in their lives and never really worried too much that they couldn't find the next opportunity to help them be successful as well. So put your comments in there. Let's hear what you think. Love to hear it. You have a phenomenal day. Dan from Michigan again.